Just tweeting. Okay. So, when people get in this, woo, just knocking cameras everywhere. When people get in this, if they could let me know how the audio levels are, that would be great, because I'm trying something new and I don't know how. So, yeah. But I want music, and I wanted you guys to like hear the music. So, there we go. But this is, if you've heard my montages, you might know that this is a thing. A lot of this music. I wish I could like turn it down though. I could turn it down for you guys. I can't turn it down for myself because it's awkward that way. Okay, there we go. I did do it. Yay! Alright. So, today we're going to paint another rat from the Mice and Mystics set. So the rat that I painted last stream is this one. Like, where's the best place to point this light? So this rat, he's okay. I mean, he's good. Who am I kidding? He's pretty good. But he's also really dark. So, I mean, he doesn't look as dark, I think, in real life as he does on this stream. But he's still pretty dark. I'm really happy with how he turned out otherwise. So today we're going to try kind of a similar brush technique, or painting technique, but we're going to modify and tweak some stuff. And we're going to see how it turns out, and hopefully it'll be more with what I want. So, this is what we're starting with. This is a base rat. This is primed, so I primed them gray, and then you can see this is what the original minis color was. So there you go. Hello, person watching. I don't know if you are capable of chatting, but if you could let me know if my audio levels are great, that would be awesome. Haven't figured out how to test those myself yet. So there you go. Oh, interesting. I think I just accidentally popped this guy out of his base. I totally did. I'll be super gluing that back. Alright, well, so I just popped this little rat dude out of his base. So we're not going to paint him, because I will need to super glue him back on another day. So we're going to do somebody else. Be careful, kids. Oh, hi, John. Yay. Alright. So let's plunker this guy down. Okay, so this is our base rat finally on the stinking base. Trying like new camera angles and everything. Alright, so let's do some colors. I think like right now my posture is still pretty good, so I'm like wanting the camera to not be as low. Oh my goodness. Helps if you turn the right way. Alright. Of course now that means I'm gonna have to adjust my focus, but that's cool. I think that's good. Okay, so let's do this. So I made notes last time I painted because I'm going to be painting several of these for a video tutorial. I might be painting yours, John. Actually, seriously, if I do come tonight, is it possible that you could bring the figures from your Mice and Mystics game? I don't need the game, I just need just the figures. That would be great. I don't know where my notebook went with all my notes of how to paint everything. Oh well, we're gonna wing it from memory. Okay, so I believe last time the base brown that I did on the rats to start. Yes, all figures, that would be fantastic. So last time I did a base brown of leather brown, which is what I'm going to use today to start this whole process off. So this is going to be kind of a, we're going to paint the full figure. I'm going to put 3 drops. I'm using the Reaper Minis MSP paint, core colors. Yeah, so there we go. As for which brush I'm going to use, oh man. I'm not too worried about painting things I'm not going to paint, so I'm going to use my Citadel's layer paint medium, brush rather. So this is the brush I'm going to use to do the layers on this. So get it wet, get it a little dry. Here we go. This is so much better with music. Okay, so on this one I'm going to do kind of a full paint. I want to make sure that I don't want to lose any detail on this fur, so I'm going to make sure that when I apply, I get it spread into the crevices and so it doesn't pool on any particular points. This coat is more about just painting the full figure. So I want to make sure that I get every spot. I say full figure, but I don't mean full figure. I mean all of his fur. Last mini I painted at this step, I totally skipped an entire arm. So I don't think I will paint every mini from this series on stream because that would kind of defeat the purpose. I don't know. Of course, now I'm realizing I could probably take the footage from these videos and edit them into a tutorial. Which might mean I don't even need your figures, John. I will need them for the heroes for sure, but I figure better safe than sorry. I should have put a link to this playlist that I'm listening to in the video description. I don't think I can do it while it's streaming though. Which is kind of frustrating. Well, if you want to have a painting day, I have more than enough supplies. You could come and paint with me. Steve paints with me sometimes. It's almost like a meditative hobby, really. It's also just not nearly as good as... I was gonna say it would be like, it's like a meditative hobby, kind of like yoga, but it's not nearly as good for your posture as yoga is. This song is not nearly as uppy as the last one. So I use this is no copyright sound. They have a bunch of, I don't think they're in-house artists, but they have a bunch of people that upload music to them. And then they host it under a no DRM license, which is great. I actually used a lot of their stuff in my vlogs for like the montage scenes. This is where I get a lot of the music nowadays. For like the longer montages. Nowadays, like back in October. But a lot of the more dubby stuff or like stuff with vocals I did not use because I figured it would detract too much from the video quality. If I had more time to do some like audio mixing, not mixing, but if I had more time, I could probably do some pretty cool stuff with the audio plus video combo with the music, but I just don't, so it's just another thing added to the list of things I want to do. I'm almost already out of paint. There is supposed to be music painting, or music playing. Is there no music playing? Oh goodness. I can turn up the audio on the music, but it's pretty set. I guess I might have to turn it up. Whoops, well then I just muted it. No music, eh? The mixer is showing that there's music. Don't know. Oh, okay, so there is music. Well, I tuned it up a little bit, so that should help. How about that? Alright, I'm definitely already low on paint for this one. I almost want to thin this so it goes in the crevices easier. Yeah, I figured I would add music so that people could watch this while they were at work. And I could just like listen. That was my goal. Plus I would have music. I'm actually just gonna paint the hands and feet this brown color this time. Maybe not. So I thin the paint so I can be a bit more reckless, I guess I would say, with applying this base coat. The only trick with that is you have to make sure that you really spread it. Oh, hey John, do you think that, like, keyflower would work really well for tonight? Because I want Steve to play it so we can make a decision on keeping it or not. And it is definitely... Oh, wait, no, Steve's not playing it tonight. Never mind. Yeah, that's the only bad thing about Monday night games. If I go to Monday night games, I have to leave before Steve gets home, so... I think I also have the Farmers expansion. Keyflower is one of the games on our, like, chopping block. I played it once at PAX forever ago. Actually, no, I might have played it. I think I played it twice. But it just is a really long game and has a lot of AP. So I don't. We have to play it 2-player. But we're trying to be really critical of, like, the games that we actually keep. And Keyflower is one that I've had. I don't think I've ever played my copy. It's kind of one of those. Because they did those billions of Kickstarters, so everybody has one. Oops. So I didn't mean to paint his eyeball, but I was fine going around his socket. I'm actually going to get a little bit more in his ears this time than I did last time. Just okay at 2 is kind of tough for us to keep at this point. Oh, have you played Kanban? Kanban's on our list, but we need to play it too. Yeah, the first time I played it was 6 hours too. Wait, did I play with you once? Did you ever go to PAX and play Keyflower? I don't think you were there. I would have remembered you from the video. Though I met a friend years later that was friends with somebody that was in my PAX Keyflower video. It was kind of funny. Okay. I think this guy... So I was a bit more messy with these base colors today than I was last time. So this was a little faster. Hey, I forgot the same like elbow part on this figure as the last one. The music's great, but the problem is I keep like wanting to hum to it. I feel that would be distracting. Okay. Sorry, my glasses hit the camera. So I really wanted to make sure that his fur is thoroughly coated, so that you can't see primer through it. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera with my glasses. Oh, I guess just a warning, Ichi might bark today, because we have some new neighbors that just moved in yesterday, and I think somebody's unpacking, which means that they're making lots of noise. And Ichi is barking at that. Come on. Paint the little crook. Alright. I think that is good. So there he is, face colored. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of social media right now, actually. Take a posture break. I'm like I got distracted by doing it. Okay. Alright. Okay. Social media storm done. Cool. Alright, so now we're gonna layer some brown in it. I'm gonna raise the camera so that I can have better posture for at least a little while. Okay, so now we're going to layer some brown on. So, I'm going to use, no, that's gold. Normally I have my paints like ready before I start painting. Did not do that this time. Because I foolishly thought they were all here. They are. Haha! That's a lot of minis. Mice and Mystics is really just, it's a great like family dungeon crawly game. It's hack and slash. It's still kind of fun. It's low key. It's nothing as complex or interesting as like Imperial Assault, but I mean it's like a scale down from that. Plus the story is really good. So I was playing through with a bunch of friends. I've like totally screwed up this brush. I was playing here with a bunch of friends a couple years ago, and we were really enjoying it, and then I foolishly moved away. We never finished it. Okay, so now we're gonna do, I'm not even sure this light's gonna be useful for me right now. So we're gonna do, so we did the base in this leather brown. It's basically like a light brown. So now we're gonna do the next one in this medium brown shade, which is harvest brown. I think this is just not helping. So we're gonna do harvest brown for kind of layering. So the way that I'm gonna layer this is I'm gonna water it down quite a bit. And we're only gonna layer like shadowed area. So we're gonna do 2 drops, boop, boop, and then we're gonna do some drops of water. So the way that I do drops of water is I just use the back of the paintbrush. I just drip that in the water, Ichi, get some good drops. So I'm gonna do 4 drops of water, so 2 drops of paint, 4 drops of water. So if you're using the Citadel minis or paint, which is a lot thicker, the layer paint is from them is thinner than their base paint for sure, but you probably need to add a little bit more water. Alright, so I'm gonna mix it basically the consistency. You totally can't see this, but so if I wipe it, you can see that it leaves a pretty decent stray of color still, so it's still pretty pigmented, it's just thin. Very cool. Yeah, Mice and Mistakes is a good crawler. It's the characters do have abilities and you can level them up. So it's similar to that kind of Descent, Imperial Assault, that kind of stuff. It's got a bit more of like a friendly vibe. So if you, sorry, let me make my camera right. So if you lose a level, we house ruled that was basically like playing a video game. You would just play the level over again. Alright, so I'm focusing on his back, realizing that this might not be the color that I wanted. I'm not sure this is the brown that I wanted. Now I remember why I had that light there. Yeah, I don't think this is as dark a brown as I want. Well, we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna layer on his back, like up the ridge of the top of his head. Sorry, the light totally was ruining it. Like right up his nose. So this one, because it's thin, it's almost more like a wash, but not. So I'm gonna highlight the areas of him that would be in shadow or just I want some definition on. So like his pecs, for example. Going to paint mouse path. This rat is on medication. It's on monoclast, which is a asthma allergy medication. Because my allergies are so bad, I am on a daily asthma medication for them, even though I don't have asthma. But if you, too, are a sufferer of severe allergies, basically always feel like a zombie, talk to your doctor about kidding on singular. So, I'm also using this setup to record a Learn to Knit video where I'll be teaching you how to make a dice bag. But that one's not going to be live, that's going to be an edited one. But I'm going to use this camera setup because it's so great. I can like have both hands free. So I think tomorrow I will be knitting a dice bag. Like just on camera all day tomorrow so that I have that footage. It's going to be great. I guess I could technically stream that, but I don't think that would be very interesting to watch. Could do like a knitting along teaching video, I guess. That would be fun. Stream. Oh. Alright, so now I've kind of highlighted his shadow areas with this brown color, gone under the areas I want, and so now I'm doing an additional layer on his back and those places that I want to build up the shadow or just dark fur color. So that's what this paint mixture is really for. It's to build up the layers of darkness. Sounds evil. That is, this is a jungle speed totem. It's the travel one, and it's my favorite to paint minis on because it feels so nice to hold, but it's not very stable. So if I put it down, the minis, they get knocked over a lot easier. So, alright, Steve is telling me something because my phone is blowing up. Doesn't he know I'm painting rat butt? Jeez. Steve has been trying to convince me to let him get the Merchants and Marauders expansion that's out of print. He found a copy. I'm not going to tell you where he found a copy because then you might go get it. But he found a copy and he's been trying to convince me to let him get it while we're in the middle of like a massive game purge because we're moving. So he's been blowing up my phone. Even though I've told him okay, like several times, he's still sending me justifications. Let's see what the next one is. Cool. Oh, cool. So we can donate some games to the game library for the con that's happening in a couple weeks. So now I'm just building up color in those areas that I really want to darken. Like, it's gonna basically be his whole body that eventually gets a layer of this paint, but certain areas of his torso and arms and whatnot are actually gonna get several layers, which will make it a much darker brown. Well, not darker, but... well, yeah, not... it will be a darker brown. Don't know about much darker. Yay! Thanks. Have a good day, Natural 20 Games. Tell me your name. Alright, so that's basically 2 layers. We're going to do a 3rd layer on this back ridge. The layering is how you get kind of like a gradient effect. That's a little bit smoother than just dry brushing. Dry brushing is another way to really add a lot of pop and gradient and color change. But when you layer thin layers like this, you get a lot more of a transitional, subtle, like, color change. So I'm actually gonna do, so now for this layer, I'm basically gonna highlight his muscles. So I'm just gonna do almost some just drawing, I guess. Around this layer, I'm just going to be doing a layer around the curve of his muscles to really highlight and accentuate them pecs. Oh, that's a good question. I think that should be a question for the whole chat. For me, so the question from Kabuki Kid is, what is the best game you have played recently? I've been playing a lot of games recently. But what is the best game that we've played recently? That's a tough one. I definitely liked Grand Austria Hotel. That I played a couple, I guess, like last weekend. Not this last weekend, but the weekend before. So on this layer on his back, I'm just doing the ridge very close to it. Just the ridge, like right on the top. Not going as far down as I was previously. The previous layer still hasn't even dried all the way, so. And highlight his leg muscles, I guess. Yeah, I really enjoyed Grand Austria Hotel. I really like Loop Inc. Though I have a feeling once I figure out the optimal strategy for Loop Inc., it's gonna lose its fun for me. But I mean, that's true with a lot of games. Cool. Pandemic Legacy is amazing. Wow, Rebellion's your favorite game of the year so far, eh? Have you just played it 2-player, or have you done like the 4-player team thing? Doing some, I'm just laying the brown basically wherever I want to have like some more, not, I guess, depth of color. So like under his face, along the ridge, more muscle definition. Just things like that. So I'm not sure you can see, but I've done several layers now. I don't know if you can tell how his biceps are a little bit more accentuated. It might be more apparent on this side. See a little bit of the detail. I'm not sure if it's as noticeable, but there is basically right near his armpit, I haven't done dark brown, but like on the ridge I've done several layers. So he's got this like shading effect almost, where he's going from a darker brown and then shading into a lighter brown. And that's just caused from doing so many layers with this brown. Speaking of, I shall do another one. This is one of those things where if I was painting multiple other routes, I could do a layer on each one pretty quick, and by the time I finished through all three, then I could do the next layer, and like would be this nice progression. But I'm only painting the one route because I'm still experimenting. Steve just played Star Wars Rebellion the other night, and he really liked it. He played the 4-player variant, and he was on a team. He liked it, but he was like, Tiffany, it wouldn't be a game that you would like at all. I don't have any of the Mice and Mystics expansions. I was very firm that we had to finish the campaign that we were doing before we got any expansions, and then we never finished the campaign because one of my people in the game group had a baby, and then somebody else had like somebody else moved, and then I moved across the country, so it died. But Steve played it recently and liked it, so we might start another campaign with painted figures. Cool. Do you have any of the expansions? I've always wanted to try. I do really like this game. I really did want to try and finish the campaign to get to that, so it's still like on my list. Of course, my list is giant. Okay, so I'm really digging him. I'm very like happy with where he's going. I think I'm gonna do like one more layer of brown on his ridge and his muscles. And then I'm gonna do his blush. Or no. Well, I'm gonna do his I'm gonna do the rest of his base color details. So his hands and his sword and like that stuff I'll do next. And then I can do his wash. Pop. I just want to be careful to not add so many layers to this ridge that he loses fur detail on it. But the layers are thin, so hopefully I'm a ways off on that still. Billion layers of brown. Doing another layer of buff rat muscles. Don't mind me. think our rat friend here is done with his strawberries.
We could be holding up our light. We could be fighting for what's right. Or we could be falling to pieces. Under the bridge of fire burns. Somewhere the pages
Might as well just add another layer of brown on the ridge. Nice. So next up, I'm gonna do his words. I can use them. Next up, I'm going to paint silver bits. So I'm gonna use Shadowed Stone, which is the shade from Riva Mini Paints. So it's this number, it's just a dark gray. So I'm gonna use this for like his leather straps and his cuffs and the hilt of his sword. And when we wash it, it'll turn really nice and like dark blackish. So yeah. Yeah, that's the point. I really like having company while I paint, just to like talk and stuff, so I was excited. Like, basically, y'all can come and watch me while I paint, while you're like at work or whatever, and then I can have company, and then you can go home and like paint yourself. Or I know some people are watching these videos not live while they paint, so they have like company while they paint. So the brush that I'm using on this one is my favorite brush. It is a stiff, I guess it's like a silver fox, I don't know. It's a 0. I like it because it's got a lot of snap, and then it actually got like some bend in it. But I'm okay with that, it turns out. Actually, this is like one of my favorite brushes. This other one from Princeton. Actually, I think this one is my favorite. It's not a very good favorite. So this one, it's also a 0, it's the Embrun, it's from the art supply store, but it's got a lot of, the bristles are stiffer, so it's got a lot of snap to it, which I like for painting like smaller detail things, which is what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna do his like, what will be black bits eventually. So we're gonna do his cuffs, which I don't know if they're leather, I don't know if they're metal. They're definitely an artistic statement. So we're gonna do those. So on this one, I want to make sure that I don't get the pink bits, or the bits that will eventually be his flesh tones, because pain in the butt to fix. But this brush makes it easy because it's so stiff. Makes it easy to make sure paint doesn't get where I don't want it. I just put some on his arm. So make it easy to get paint where I don't want it. Immediately puts paint where I don't want it. Alright, so when I screw up and I get paint where I don't want it, I quickly get some water on the brush, then I dry the brush, and then I go back, get some water on the brush, paint the area that I just screwed up with the water, basically to just really thin out that paint, and then I dry the brush and go back and stuff it up. Cool. Crisis averted. So now I can go to painting. gonna avoid that area for a little while, let that water dry. I learned that technique because I screwed up so often. So there's like, I don't know how many of you have played the Mice and Mystics story. I'm just gonna cut it off. There's like an extra bit and I don't want it. Okay, so at first I thought these were part of the mini. These they look like busted chain link things, but I don't think they're part of the mini. I think they're just annoying. So I know I should have done this before I primed, but whatever, I'm doing it now. Bird. Okay, I got one off. Come on. Wait, second one. Alright, I got most of the second one. There we go. Alright. Sweet. Fixed it. Paint on my clothes. I do not get paint on my clothes, no. I've gotten like water on my clothes when I get like really excited in the paintbrush rinsing stage, but I don't get paint. I've gotten paint on my fingers, but using my prescription bottles to hold the mini has really helped deter that. I get paint on my hands a lot when I prime because I have these like cardboard things that I put the minis on while I'm priming, but it's easier for me to hold the cardboard because then I can angle it, so this thumb usually gets really nicely primed. But it comes off pretty easy, and then I just have like this glorious gray nail. It just looks like I painted one nail. So yeah. Yeah, before I came up with that, I just was using my jungle speed totem, which I didn't, and it works really well. And then I was just like, wait a minute. I think I was like going to recycle a prescription bottle and it didn't make it all the way one day and it was just on the table when I was painting and I was like, oh. So now I have several. If you're like me and you have a monthly allergy prescription, there you go. I wish I could buy more pills in one go, but they just don't. Insurance is like, nope. Well, I can buy a larger supply, but they still come in 30-day packs, which is stupid. It's probably more to do with the pharmacy than the insurance. So I know I asked in the beginning of the stream, but is the music like working for folks? Because I am so excited to have music today. It's very quiet, I believe, but I can't figure out how to make it louder for you all without deafening myself, because we're hooked together. Alright, so we've got cuffs done. Oh, somebody's doing something on Periscope. Cool. Awesome. Oh no, poor you. You have to go to a gaming gathering. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you have to go suffer at a game gathering. Yeah, it's just really tough. Are they gonna make you play games there? That'd be so horrible. Oh, Time Stories. I need to still play that. It's on my list. We have a friend who has a copy that's down to play with us, so we just have to basically find the time, which is gonna be tough because we're moving next month. Like, I'm actually gonna start packing here in a few weeks, or not even a few weeks, like a week and a half. I have to start packing up the game collection. Which is crazy to think about. Steve and I were working so hard to get all our games on shelves yesterday, and then I was like, why are we trying so hard? We're just going to be putting these all in boxes in a while. But it's the thing, we don't like having games not on shelves, because that just means that we've too many games. Like, we're fine buying more shelves, but like, the games really have to be down to solid a collection. A lot of people have been saying that the Prophecy of Dragons is like the best one so far, and it has to do with dragons, so I'm totally in. Tiffany is moving. Yes, I'm moving across town, and I might do another unpacking series because it was very popular and the collection has changed quite a bit. There's definitely a lot more staples and definitely a lot less unplayed games. So, seems enough people like it that I might do another unpack one. The problem is we don't know where our games are going to go yet in the new house. So it's going to be a little while. Alright, I'm going to have to turn off Periscope notifications. I don't really get why people were into the unpacking one. I guess it was like the mystery factor of like, what's she going to pull out next? But yeah, a lot of people watched it. It was kind of funny going to cons and people be like, oh my god, I watched your unpacking series. And just be like, really? Like, I started doing that as a joke, but people really liked it. Maybe I'll do a poll on my Patreon. I just think it's weird if I do another unpacking series, like almost a year from my first one. So I did 2 drops of the shadowed stone, and I think that's basically, I mean, it's a little too much paint, but how fast it's drying, I think 1 drop would have been not enough. So one of the things that I've found helps a lot with the mini painting stabilization is to put my elbows on the table and then move not from my wrist, but from my elbow. It's there's another technique of like delicate things, arty crafty thing that you do, I forget what it is, that uses a similar concept. To move from the elbow, not from the wrist. I can't remember. Drawing. Is it drawing? I don't know. Good luck, Kabuki Kid. Thanks for watching. Sweet. So now I need to finish his sword hilts. And then we're done with the Shadowed Stone. I think the next stream I'll be doing rats again, but I hope that this one works out. Then the next stream can be the gray rats that I'm doing, which should be slightly more exciting. Well, I don't know if exciting is the right word for any miniature painting endeavor. Oh, that was not funny, bone. It is warm today. Portland is having a heat wave again. Cool. Alright. Cool. So I think that is done. Now we're gonna do this blade. Shiny, shiny, shiny steel. I gotta figure out when I make this video series how to do the paint colors. I'm kind of like stressing about that because I use what I have, and what I have is like a mix of Citadels and Reapers. So most of my new paint is Citadel Minis or Citadel paint, but most of my old paint is Reaper paint. So this is honed steel, so it's like a good silver color, and it's hard to see through the bottle, but it has a like sparkly to it, like a little metallic. So I'm just gonna do a drop because I really don't need a lot. And then I'm using the same brush as before. And we're just gonna do the sword. Shiny, shiny sword. Oh, that was weird. The cat is like lightly rubbing against my legs, which is creepy. So some people, so we're purging our games. If you have seen on Twitter, we are constantly purging our games. Like it's almost like every week we look at the collection and we move stuff over. We have a shelf in the house, which is the to-go shelf. And then whenever we're running to a game store, we bring the games on the to-go shelf. And we bring them to the game store and we sell them to the game store. We used to save all those games to do a charity auction that I would do once a year. I actually did it twice a year last year. But as much as I loved doing the charity auction and I loved how much money we raised, I just couldn't do it again right now. And it doesn't make sense for us to store all the games that we were storing. Oh, bye, John. I'll let you know about tonight. I'm leaning towards maybe a no because I really do need to edit video. But we just don't have the space to store games that we're eventually gonna do a charity auction for. And because we're just constantly getting rid of games, we would I've done it before. Basically, I would hold on to games for months, like 8-9 months, to put them in the charity auction. And it just was so annoying. Alright, I will turn down the volume a little bit on the music. And it just was so annoying to do that. And we moved to a smaller apartment, and so it's just not feasible in Portland for us to do that. So if we were only ever purging like once a year or something like, or if we were only looking at our collection and getting rid of games, you know, once a year or something, it would be a lot more feasible. But because we are constantly evaluating and critiquing what we have in our collection, it just doesn't make sense to do the charity auction, which sucks, and I hate that. And I totally am out of paint to do the spike. Do I have enough on the brush? Yeah. Sorry, Nelly, I turned down the volume a little bit on that. Hopefully it helps a little. Nelly, what would you think about making a minis painting channel? Would that be weird? I think that would be weird, maybe. For me. I think for you it would be brilliant. I know, I'm just like... We could just cross-promote, I guess. I would be down. When you get your mini stuff live and up, let me know, and I will cross-promote snot out of your channel. Alright, so that is his sword done. Let's get him in frame. There we go. So that's his sword done. You can see now it's got a shine to it. His spike also has a shine. Ooh. So now I'm gonna rinse the brush really well because the polished, whatever metal stuff they put in that really sticks to my brush. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to do his armor spot. Alright, well good thing I put more paint out. Where'd it go? I forgot to do his little shoulder pad thing.
Got some on his shoulder. I was doing so good on not screwing up, and then I totally... Alright, well... It's not coming off. So I'm gonna do a really stupid thing. And use my X-Acto blade to just scratch off the top layer thing. Which, if you're not careful, will take up a little bit of your primer, but whatever. It's such a tiny spot. Okay, so now I've finished with the silver bits. So now we're gonna do the fleshy bits. So last time for the fleshy bits, I did a mix of this Emperor's Children pink with tanned skin, and I'm not like a massive fan of how it turned out. I ended up doing a dry brushing of tan skin over top of it because it was so pink. I just didn't really feel like the rats were that pink. So for this one, I'm going to just do tan skin. So this is sun bleached, but it's an MSP paint from Reaver Minis, and it's tan skin. So it's this very light brown. I'm not going to thin this at all, and I'm going to keep using the same brush. I'm going to do 2 drops, so I have enough. Ooh, this song has cussing. Let's not have that. Cool. Okay. So now I'm just painting these fleshy bits. Looks like Steve is talking to me again. So I'm not worrying about the base at all, because this color is so light. It's going to be really easy to paint over with the dark gray that I'm going to be using for these bases. I don't do any like base detail painting because I'm not very good at it. I might try to do some like fake stonework on these, but for right now, the bad guys, I'm painting the bases. Just I will eventually paint their bases at the very end. Just a slate gray, essentially. Maybe if I feel inspired, I'll try and like paint fake lines to make it look like it's a stone thing. I don't really know. Cool. Alright. Sword hand. So I'm gonna try something different for these washes, I think. We're gonna see how it goes. But I don't really want to, and I think about it, because it's not very beginner what I'm thinking of doing. So maybe not. Just constantly moving the camera on you. That's the thing, is like there's things I would do on this mini that I would love to do, but that would totally be more of like an advanced technique, and the whole point is to make the like beginner's painting tutorial, which in my mind shouldn't require a lot of paint purchasing, or like at least the bare minimum. So trying to keep that in mind, that while I do not have like a ton of paints, I still have a pretty decent collection that a beginner would not. Like painting, not in frame. And there's no one hanging out in chat right now to tell me these things. Yeah, it's a lot less pink. Much nicer, I feel. Alright. So now for his tail. I was thinking earlier when somebody was like, I can't join you for the live, but I'll be painting. I'll watch it tonight when I paint minis. And I was like, you know, I wonder how feasible it would be to just like have a Google Hangout minis painting session. Like you just have a video chat session with friends and paint minis. That could be a fun idea. Maybe even broadcast it. It's like playing games together, but you're being crafty. Okay, I'm like almost out of this paint on my palette. I don't want to get another drop, but I only have a little bit to go. Oh, and then I have to do his gums. I might actually do the pink bit for his face again. I like that. Cool. Nope, headphones falling off. Okay. I liked El Vicchio. Steve and I also liked it. It was very quick. We definitely saw the amazing potential of having more players, like a 3-4 player game. We both really liked it. I kicked Steve's butt. So it has been kept. It is off the chopping block, but I can also definitely see it as one where we will have to get more. I mean, like, if we do another purge in like a year, it might go up if we've not played it with multiple people by then. So yeah, but I liked it. Il Vicchio is designed by Rudiger Dorn, who is one of Steve and I's. He's becoming one of Steve and I's favorite designers. We really like his games. Just throw my rat. So when I realized it was by him, I was like, oh well, now we definitely have to play it. So it was good. Okay, so now I just have his ears and I'm out of tan flesh, so I do have to do more. I have his ears and like his gum line, which I am gonna do with this color as well. So just another drop of tan flesh. It's like it's really hot. It's because I'm sitting under a studio light. That helps. Okay. But I guess for those of you listening who don't know about Il Vicchio, so the idea is, the whole premise of the game is you're in Italy in the Renaissance age, and there's this guy Il Vicchio who is it's like Medici or whatever. His real name is like something Medici family, but they call him Il Vicchio, which is the elder, and he basically just has a lot of control in Florence, and so Florence and Italy and just the whole region, and so what you and the other players are doing is you are families competing to reduce the control he has in the town and like make sure that your family comes out on top in the outer regions when you start doing that. So you're working, story-wise, you're working together to undermine him, but game-wise you're not really working together. But there's definitely the things that you do definitely help each other in passive ways, where you're like, oh, well, I need to do this, but this will help you, but I have no option. So It's one of those games. But you have these workers, and there's this board with regions and cities, and there's provinces where you can gain influence to get prestige points, power points, which are your victory points at the end of the game. And then you have these tracks in Florence itself where you can go and get assert dominance to get points, but also to get various benefits that will either get you points at the end of the game or will help you do things during the game. So it's one of those ones where, like, Steve focused on getting influence in Florence and getting the tiles that got him points at the end of the game based on various conditions, whereas I focused in Florence on getting the tiles that give me abilities during the game that modified like base actions so that I could do essentially better versions of those base actions. And then for the provinces, when you put influence in a province, you get a bonus tile of your pick, and then that bonus tile is a one-time use that you can use to do various things. So, and there's 3 different provinces where you can do that kind of stuff. But to get into these provinces or areas, you have to have influence over, you have to have favor with like the merchants or type of people. And so you have to gain that favor by going through middlemen, which are these tokens. There's one for each type of group, and these tokens, whenever you activate one in a city, it moves to the next city around the board. So you can kind of plant your family members, your workers, in these cities so that when the middleman moves, he moves to a town where you already are, so that on your next turn you just activate him and you're good to go. But if he's not in a town and you need him, you can travel to him on your turn before you like try and talk to him. But traveling costs money, and it also costs money to assert dominance in provinces. But you can get money in towns by spending a turn, going and getting money. So it's one of those games where you have to you only get one action a turn, and so it's like, well, do I activate this middleman to get this favor token so that I can eventually go into this province, but I need money to even get into that province, so do I first go and try and get money? And then there's the middleman that gives more money than just the towns, so do I try and track down that middleman, but that'll cost me money to get to that middleman. But if I just hang out in that city, eventually, like, every 4th time he's activated, the middleman won't be back to me, and I won't even have to move the guy, and like, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's that. Alright, I'm doing his lips now, which are already pretty well painted from the base coat of his fur. Oh, I got his teeth. No. So that's Helvetio. It plays 2 to 4 players. How long did it take us to play? I think we played, it was pretty quick. Because you can only do one thing on your turn, the turns are really, really fast. Because you're not chaining. Like, the most you're doing is gaining territory in a province, which means that you get to pick one of the tiles. But even in the rules, it's like, just continue play while you're picking the tile. So, it's definitely designed to be quicker. So yeah. I guess that's good enough on his lips. His nose. I kind of want to do pink just because I think that would be adorable. How did the other guy's pink nose turn out? You can't even tell it was pink. Right, I'm gonna do tanned. Maybe I'll go back and dry brush it pink. Or do like a layer of pink or something, I don't know. I really bought the pink for the mice, not the rats. That was a giant glob of paint. Thanks, brush. Cool. Okay, so his fleshy bits are done. Trying to find the exact spot. There we go. So I'm gonna do his teeth. I'm not gonna do his eye right now. I'm gonna do his teeth. And then we're gonna do a dark wash. So for his teeth, I'm going to use an even thinner brush. Alright, Ken. Do not want notifications. So before I do this, so I only need 1 drop of white, and I'm gonna use my teeny tiny brush. So this is a 05 round. It's from Princeton Art and Supply. It's also from the art store. It also has a nice little protector. That's how you know it's a quality brush. So, time to do your dental exam, Mr. Rat. Oh, that's right. This is the one that has like this stupid little hair on it. The brush does. It's got an extra, one of its hairs is out. His teeth are so well sculpted, you could almost just dry brush them. So, I'm not gonna worry about getting his teeth just perfect just now because I will eventually probably come back and highlight them, but I want to make sure that they're got a nice shine on the top layer for now. And then that's it. Is that it? His eyes I'm not gonna do just yet. I'm gonna do after. So yeah, I think I'm realizing that this camera is not what I want. So I think he's ready for some washing. I'm leaving all my brushes out today so I can clean them like all at once. Alright. So for this wash, we're gonna use the 5 just basic standard brush. It's my like whatever, don't care about a brush. And I actually, so this is where I was like, oh, that would be cool. So last time I did a wash with black wash essentially, which was just, it was wrong. Should not have done. This earth shade is basically like a muddier brown wash, so it's a really good wash for things that you want to keep brown and not turn into dark black. So I'm going to use this one, but I also have this flesh shade that I think I want to use on his flesh. So I'm going to use this one on his fur, this one on his flesh. And that's the thing where I'm like, oh, that might be too much paint purchasing for beginners. But I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I wanna see how it turns out. Okay, so when I do washes, I just wash out of the bucket with the Citadels. So with a wash, you just go crazy. So I'm going to try and avoid his fleshy bits, but get everything else. So this wash is really going to get in those crevices and highlight his fur again. I also want to make sure that I get his dark silver bits. Alright, that might have been too much on the brush. Dark washes are my favorite part. Favorite part of painting minis. It's just magic. Especially if they're as well sculpted as these minis. It just adds so much detail, it's crazy. So when doing a dark wash, it's important to hold the mini in such a way that the excess will pool where you want it. So I'm holding him flat so that it pools in the crevices of like his arms and his hips and also his chin. And then let that sit for a little while at this angle. And then I'm gonna do some more. But this is definitely highlighting and shadowing a lot better than the black wash that I did before. So you can see he still looks brown, but he's getting a lot of depth, where he's getting more detail in his fur is now popping. Just put a bunch of wash. So I really want to make sure that his eye sockets get done well, so basically just gonna dump paint in his eye socket and then I'll come back and spruce it out. I also want to make sure his armpit and the crest where his like blade thing is good. So yeah, his eye socket is now a lot better defined. Got a little bit on his teeth accidentally, that's okay. Cool. Much nicer. Yeah. This is more what I was looking for. Thank you, Jesse. So I want to make sure his face is evenly washed. Yeah, that's pretty good. Much better. The layering that we did on the brown really, really helped. And then doing the brown wash instead of a black wash really, really helps keep him brown in color. So you can see his back is much darker than, say, his stomach. It's hard to see his stomach, but like this side profile is not nearly as dark as his back because I did more layers of brown on his back. And there's actually, it's really easy to tell in person. There's like a gradient that's going from the top of the ridge is a very dark brown, and then as you go down into like his soft underbelly bit, it's a lot lighter of a brown. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse, for also suggesting Earthshade last time, because I totally forgot that it was a thing that existed. Cool, so now we're going to do the flesh wash on his fleshy bits. Then we're going to go back and do some last dry brushing and shading, and then we're good. So I'm gonna better wash all these brushes later. For right now, I just wanna get through this. So now I'm gonna do the flush shade for his fleshy bits, and I'm hoping that this will add some like pink back to his fleshy bits. So go. Okay. His ears are tough because there's so much that pulls in them already. Perfect. Yeah. So I'm not too worried if I accidentally flush shade part of his face because the brown is so dark that it will overwhelm it. So. Get that cool mouse nose. Yeah, this is definitely more of the pinkish tone that I was looking for. Very happy. It's so hard to capture though. So I'm not sure if you can see how his ear is a little bit more reddish now on the inside. Might be more obvious on the back of the ear. It's hard to get that to show up on camera. But I want to make sure that it doesn't, it's pulling a lot behind his ears, which is fine, but I don't want it bleeding too much into his fur. Which it seems to have done. So we'll just, you know, translate that down. Alright. Hands and feet. Much nicer. I think I forgot to wash the inside of the sword. Maybe. Much better. Yeah, I'm much happier with his flesh wash. With that flesh wash. I haven't done his tail yet. So you can kind of see how his feet are a little bit pinker than his tail. And his hands as well. And I haven't washed his feet yet. Or I haven't washed his tail. Wow, Tiffany. Cool. Alright. Let's wash that tail, dude. And then we're basically, I think, done. Well, with some highlights left, but I'm not sure how many highlights I'm going to add, aside from his eyes. Alrighty. Oh, that one tooth's a little bright. Actually, I wonder if I can do some flesh wash on the sword base. Maybe it'll look like it's been bloodied. Might as well. Cool. And that's the wash. Very excited with how he looks. Very, very excited. Much, much better than the last one that I did. The last one's still good. I'm okay with that. But so this is the last one. So the difference on technique is basically a black wash versus a brown wash. So this was the black wash, this was the brown wash. So you can see just the difference in color. This one still looks really dark brown. He just looks super crazy dark brown. This one looks obviously like a more medium dark brown. And his flesh tone is popping more because I did it in a different shade. His original brown color is a little bit more prominent. This one looks ominous though, I will say, in comparison. His sword looks a lot more terrifying because of the dark wash. So I might be tempted to do a dark wash on this one's sword to kind of really just, you know, creep it out. But either way, I'm still happy with how this one turned out. I'm just really happy with this one because this is the brown that I was going for. But that's cool. I kind of actually like that they're going to be a little different, even though they're part of the same crew. Alright, so what's left is to do some dry brushing. So with dry brushing, it's to add highlight to certain areas. I'm also going to paint his eyeball. And I don't know what else I'm going to dry brush. I could dry brush his hands a little bit, but I'm actually happy with them. I might do a quick dry brush of just brown fur on top. Like a light brown fur, maybe. I'm actually really happy with him, how he is with just a wash. So I might just leave him there. And do the last face details. Let's just do that and see how he turns out. I just wish this didn't have that little bit. Okay. So, I think it would be adorable if he had a pink nose. So I'm gonna do a pink nose. Just a little bit of pink for your adorable little nose. Oh, this is so pink, it's ridiculous. I had forgotten how pink this was. I think his pink nose definitely makes him lose a lot of cred. As a terrifying mouth rat. It's basically the Rudolph of rats. With this nose. I might add. Oh, it's adorable! Oh, it's so cute. It's a silly touch, but I love it. I love it. I'm gonna totally do it to the other one. So he's got a very bright pink nose. Alright. That one's a little harder to do. Okay. Pink nose achieved. I'm gonna whiten his teeth. And then add that silver shine on the edge of his sorter. And then I think he's done. Oh, and his eye. His eye. And this one is taking me about an hour less to do. Because practice makes perfect. Alright. So those front shinies. Don't want to paint in the gap that was caused by the dark wash, but I do want to make sure that each tooth is bright. There we go. His back teeth on this side went through the wash pretty well. This side less so. Of course, now I'm getting it all over his gums. I'm gonna use my crazy fine brush to try and reduce a little bit of what I just did. I think it's gonna work. I think I'm gonna have to go back with a... Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back with something. Alright, let's go back with pink. So the pink that I'm using is Citadel's Layer Emperor's Children, I guess. That's the pink. It's very bright pink. Like little girl pink. So I just am doing basically his gums with this to try I'm not very good at like very fine details. I tend to just like avoid them. I don't want to paint them. Alright. He now has very pink gums. And very bright white teeth. And now let's do his bright yellow eyeball. So there's one thing that I did not show. I didn't do yet. That was a lot of paint. Way to go, me. Which is after I do a matte spray finish, I'm gonna go through with I have this like glaze stuff that makes things shiny. It's how I made my roaches shiny. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make his eyeball out of shiny. Just his eyeball. I think that's too much paint. Totally screwed up already. Good job, Tiffany. So bad at details. I hate doing them for this reason exactly. Alright, so I just did a bunch of water to basically undo what I did when I screwed up the Bible. I have like, I thought I had a finer brush, I don't. Alright. Just want his eyeball. Yes. There we go. Alright. So now his eye pops. Success. Alright, so, yeah. So there we go, that's our dude. I am very proud of him. I like him a lot. I feel like he's not quite done, but I'm not sure what else to do. I could do some dry brushing to highlight parts of him. I could dry brush to bring his tail out. Do some more polish on him. I know I'm at that point where I'm like, I could add some stuff to like really make it pop, but I'm afraid that I'll go over and then it'll just make it worse. So there's that. I don't know. I could do a quick. I was gonna add a layer of polished stone on a sword via dry brushing. I know I was gonna do that to get some shiny bits. So details. Just adding it to the edge of his sword to really get the whole used scratched bit. Yeah, that's nice. Do a quick one on his spike. It's very light. And then I'm gonna do some dry brushing on his thing. Shoulder pad. So I added some more shine to that. Accidentally got some on his arm. So that's great. I'll just put some water on. Cool, so I think I'm gonna dry brush a layer on him of like fur, I guess. So I'm gonna use leather brown, which is the very, very base coat of his coat. Why is it not coming out? There we go. So dry brushing is meant to be very, like, little paint on the brush. So you put paint on the brush and then you wipe it off until there's like almost no paint. And then you go across the area that you want to paint. Like that. So it's basically just bringing out a layer of fur on his coat. Trying hard to avoid his accessories. And just do, really, I think you would do this dry brush before you get all the details painted so that you're not accidentally screwing up all your details. So there we go. So I added that highlight layer dry brush of brown to help add like another layer to his fur. And I'm not sure I like it. Remember how I was like, I'm at that stage where I want to add something, but if I do, I'm just going to mess it up? Basically. So I think I'm going to do another dry brushing of the darker brown fur on top, just like on his ridge. To add kind of like that two-tier coat effect. And then I might dry brush his tail. I think I'm gonna let him be at that point. right. Much better. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. And the 2-layer effect that happened is nice. Okay, so essentially I lightened his coat a little by doing that. So I did first the layer that was like his base layer, and then I did the layer that was his secondary layer. So that medium brown color. And it's really just to highlight the uppermost reaches of his fur, because they get darkened when you do those washes. So it's really just help bring out those colors. Is it weird? I was looking at my dog this morning. I have a corgi, for those of you that didn't know. I was looking at my dog this morning, looking at how the various layers of her coat, because she's got 3 coats, help give her color. So it's like her undercoat is white, and then she's got like this mid-layer coat, which is more of a, it's like a medium brownish, and then she has this top highlight coat of like reds and bright oranges. So she has this like nice pop in the sun, and that's basically what we're adding when we do these highlights, is essentially that very top layer coat that adds those highlights. So if you want to be really fancy, you could do like a reddish brown pop very top dry brushing to really make it pop. But there we go. I think he's done. I could, if I wanted, add some more muscular detail back in using just like the dry brush, or not the dry brush, sorry, just using the wash, kind of as like a paint. I could also, if I wanted, go and do a dark wash on his sword to really make it look more beat up like the other one, but I actually like this. It basically looks very old and like kind of almost rusted because of the brown, and then the polished dry brush that I did really makes it obvious where he's been cutting through the bad guys. You can see the shine stops. I really like him. So there we go, I think he's done. I will do a matte paint of him with a finish spray after I paint his base. I'm going to paint all the rat's bases at the same time. And then I will do one little drop of hard coat on his eyes and probably his teeth and maybe his nose to make them shiny. And then he'll be completely done. But his paint is done, aside from his base. Awesome. Alright. Let me turn down the audio. Right, so I think that this formula that I came up with for painting this latest rat, I am very happy with. So I believe I will be using this formula for my tutorial video that I will be making. I was originally planning on like shooting a bunch of them at once, but now I'm wondering if I should spread them out and do like multiple releases. Probably makes more sense. So yeah. But the next stream that I do, I will be painting the I don't know, I can't decide if I want to paint the centipede next. I'm kind of excited about the centipede, or if I want to do one of the gray rats, because the plan is to do 3 of the rats in brown shades, and then 3 rats in like the black gray shade. So next stream might be a rat, might be a centipede. I guess it kind of depends on my mood. But now I'm just washing all my brushes. So there we go. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope that this was at least somewhat entertaining while you were working or doing whatever it is you were doing. And if you're watching this later while painting minis, that's freaking awesome. I actually watch painting videos when I paint minis if I'm not streaming, so there you go. I'm gonna paint the last brown rat probably off stream. Just gonna do that on my own time. And then, yeah, we will have more different color schemes happening on the next TheOneTAR mini stream. I guess. I don't know. Alright. I'm gonna stop this while I clean all this so I can turn on this massive light that is making me so very warm. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope if you are trying to get into painting, this kind of helped you a little bit. And yeah.